Bada boom.
Hello and welcome to Passion Harvest. This is going to be an awesomely passionate, abundant episode. Today, I am so excited to have on the show the abundance activator, Jason Snaddon. Jason's personal growth journey started in 2005 when he learned that our focus creates our reality and the power of intention, especially when it is created from a state of presence. He became really aware of how much he had been focusing on what he did not want and how that was limiting results. So he got clear on what he truly wanted from his own truth. It was then that he also learned about intuition and harnessing the spiritual laws of attraction through presence and power of mindset and focus. Taking what Jason had learned, he created financial freedom by the age of 45. He then began exploring his greater purpose and his own truth at a deeper level. What has unfolded is a uniquely powerful ability to coach, channel sound, and to activate the abundance that is inherently within all of us. Jason, welcome to Passion Harvest.
Thanks, Louisa. It's a delight to be here.
Oh, I'm so happy to have you on the show.
Thank you.
Gosh, I really need some abundance tips. I guess if you don't mind starting by defining what is abundance.
Well, look, abundance, we're all inherently abundant. We all have the ability to create abundance in all areas of our lives, whether that's financial, whether that's doing something that we love, our career or our business. It's by health and vitality. It's better relationships. It's all of it. It's all of it. It's living a purposeful life, a joy-filled life. And we all have that inherent ability. But what happens for most of us is we focus on the things that we do not want. We're focusing on what we do not want based on our limiting beliefs, our limiting paradigms that have pretty much been locked in from childhood. And these behaviors play out. And our focus becomes on all the things that aren't working. So when our focus is on all the things that aren't working, more of what doesn't work keeps showing up and keeps showing up. And when we learn to create space to tap into what we want, to create space for focusing on what we do want, it starts unfolding. And the added power to that is when we're tapping into our intuitive selves, our intuition, and creating from that place, because our intuition, our higher self, is actually unlimited, and it's most expansive. And that's essentially when we can harness that energy and that way of operating, it becomes very, very powerful.
I love that. So basically, whatever we focus on, whatever we are thinking about for the majority of the time, I guess the old saying of what you focus on, energy flows to.
Yes, or what you think about, you bring about,
Whether it's something you don't want, even if you say, I don't want this, but you keep thinking about it, it seems to occur in your life.
Yes, exactly. Well, when you're saying what you don't want, you're actually putting that frequency out and it's keeping it in the field. Whereas if you change your languaging around, I choose this, or I am this, I choose this, I choose to have an abundant life, I choose money flow. Money flows in easily and frequently, making clear statements. But the energy can't decipher when you're saying I don't want, or I am not wanting, or I do not want. So that when we actually language it, I am or I choose, we're becoming very definitive.
So saying to the universe, I don't want this thing, it doesn't understand that while you're focusing on that.
No. And also when you're saying it, you're actually also thinking about the thing that you do not want, and then you're bringing it in. You're actually attracting it in. So yeah. So what happened for me was, from how I learned about this was I was in real estate. I'd just not long been in real estate, and I was one of the worst performers, and I did not like that. And I was given a book called The Magician's Way by William Whitecloud. And there's a fantastic analogy in the first chapter of this book where this guy's having a magic golf lesson. And what he's taught is that most people are so focused on how they're standing and how they're holding the club, but they're actually forgetting where they want the ball to go to. And what happens is when you actually 100% focus on where you want that ball to go to, the natural ability kicks in. And it was a perfect analogy, and it really got me hooked into this book. And in this book also, it talked about manifesting car parks. Now, I had already done that. I'd already understood how to manifest car parks. And I thought about, how do I do this? And it was because I actually inherently always expect to get a convenient car park. And I always completely believe it. And I do, sure enough, I do. But what happens is, because I have that belief and I'm in that frequency of believing it, my senses are open to it. So I'm seeing all the opportunities. I'm seeing if someone's getting in their car, I see a reverse light going on. And so I know exactly my natural ability is taking me to where I need to park. So it made sense to me. But I thought there's got to be more to this than just focusing on what I want. And then so I started studying the teachings of this, and I learned that we were intuitive beings. I learned that when we harness our intuition, we're incredibly powerful, and that we can make decisions from our intuition, but we also can create from our intuition. And what I also learned was that we've got these limiting beliefs that are playing out, and that most of them are locked in by the time we're 7 years of age. And I learned in that work environment, that sales environment that I was working in, that I was playing insignificant. It was one of my biggest wounds. I was playing insignificant, meaning that I was playing really small in this very blokey work environment that was very salesy and blokey and rah-rah. And I was playing completely small. I was making myself less than the guys that I was working with. And when I could see this, and I was thinking, oh my gosh, this is how I'm showing up here. And I also realized I was showing up inauthentically to who I was. I was showing up I'm a gay man. I was showing up as a pretend straight guy.
Right.
But I was also showing up that way with my clients. And when I realized, actually, I'm me, and then they're going to buy off me. They're going to work with me. And so I need to show up as me 100%. And so that was a huge wake up. And so, I even, I came back from this coursework. I even changed what I was wearing. I stayed, it was very white shirts and dark suits and ties, and lost the tie, started wearing color. And I was showing up myself. And I learned that, and through what I learned was that about creating what I wanted. And I got very, very clear on what I wanted to create in my life. I got very, very clear on what my land of abundance looked like. I could see that I wanted to be the top sales consultant for the company that I was working with. But more than that, I could see that I actually wanted to have my own business in this field. I wanted to have my own real estate business. And I could see that I wanted a penthouse apartment with views. I wanted to live there with a beautiful partner. I was single at the time. I wanted to have a loving and committed relationship. And then I wanted a Mercedes convertible, and I wanted a portfolio of properties. So I got very clear on those material things. And that was my starting point, because for me, that was what it was all about. That was what was important to me at that time. And within 9 months, I became the top consultant for that company nationwide. Wow. But that coincided with me having the opportunity to set up what became my own business, Love Property, under the umbrella of a financial planning organization. That was an opportunity that landed right in front of me. So I went off and set that business up. So that started, my land of abundance started unfolding. What I also learned was that in when we're in a sales environment, if we're selling something, and everyone's got a business, you've got a product and you've got a service, you must be 100% aligned to your product. You must 100% believe in your product. You must 100% believe in what you're charging for your product or your service. And you must believe 100% in yourself. And so my playground in business was creating that complete alignment. And that's how I ran my business, how I ran my real estate business, and it became very, very successful. And that's also how I became the top consultant. Fast forward, so this was 2005, I started all this. Fast forward to 2010, I'm in my renovated apartment, just living there with he's now my husband. Had a portfolio of, thank you, had a portfolio of properties I had a BMW convertible then.
Yay.
I'd had a Mercedes in between. And I was like, oh my goodness, all of this has unfolded. I didn't realize. I just had this moment. I'm sitting in this apartment, just been renovated, and I was looking at it, and I'm going, this is all unfolded. This stuff actually works. And but I flatlined after that. And so I continued to run and build my real estate business successfully, and I'm using the philosophies that had been taught, but I didn't have the next piece. I didn't have the next piece. And then fast forward again, 2014, and we got married in New Zealand, and because we could at that time, and it was a beautiful start to the year. But not long after that, my mother got diagnosed with terminal cancer, and fortunately, I was able to take leave from my business, and I went and looked after her. But that was a big wake up call. She was only 67, and I was like,
young.
You're leaving, and life is precious. What am I doing? What am I doing? What am I doing? And I made her a promise. I said, I'm going to create some sort of legacy. I don't know what it is. I'm going to do something more than what I'm doing now. And when I came back from looking after her, because she was in New Zealand, I'd go and see. So I used what I knew around creating, manifesting things, right? Tangible things. But I'd go and see, occasionally I'd go and see this beautiful lady, I call her my spiritual grandmother. And I thought, I'll go and have a healing session with Rosemary. And it's been a massive time. And so I went, and she said, oh, Jason, I'm so glad that you've come to see me. I've got some channeled information for you. Are you okay if we let this information come forth? And I said, yeah, absolutely, yeah, bring it on. And so she drops down, and this big, deep voice comes out through her. Hello, my name is Master Corton. I'm here to tell you that you are here to help people with abundance. Now, you are already doing that, whether you know it or not. And then he rattled off some examples of what I'd done. And even on my business card, on the back of my business card, it said leading all to abundance with love and integrity. So, there was something already at play. And he said, now, if you commit to us, meaning spirit, source, the universe, we will support you all along the way. And he said, now, do not commit to us now because it is coming up to your festive season. But when you do, we will support you all along the way. So New Year's Eve, I'm on my balcony. I'd had a few champagnes, and I'm going, okay, I commit. I don't know what I'm committing to, but I commit to this, right? And sure enough, things just continually showed up. I had the opportunity to join a mastermind group, a coached mastermind group with people who were, evolving and wanting to bring forth their light. And from that, I got very, very clear that I was to share what I knew about law of attraction. I was to share what I knew about creating and manifesting. And so I was very involved in networking in Sydney, and so I thought, oh, okay, I'll start having abundance breakfast. I'll share what I know over breakfast with my friends, and I'll share with them what I know about abundance and about creating. And so that's sort of how it started. Mm-hmm. And then I started working with people one-on-one as well from there. And that year, I also we were part of that mastermind group. We went on a retreat to Bali, and we got there, and it was announced that we were going into 5 days of silence with a journal, and we'd have breakout sessions. The week before that, Garrett and I had a party at our apartment, and I'd had a huge party and a bender of a night. It was a very, very boozy night, and I had a terrible hangover that week. I felt dreadful all week. And so all of that came up in the retreat because I realized that I had been a binge drinker my whole adult life, and that it was no longer working for me. It was no longer serving, no longer useful for me. And so I wrote all about it, and I got clear on why I was and what had been involved in all of that and why. And I don't need to share all of that because it's probably not relevant. But what it did for me was I gave up alcohol completely for 2 years. I didn't have a drop, didn't even sniff alcohol, couldn't stand the thought of it. So, and what that did was that opened up my connection to source, it sharpened my intuition incredibly first. But then what started happening was I became much more sensitive. I'm much more sensitive to energy and what was actually going on around me. And from there, and I'd still go and see Rosemary regularly, and she said to me, "Oh, there's an ascended master with you. His name is Master Katoumi. And if you want to, you can call him in when you're working with clients." And so I thought, okay, sure, I'll do that. And one of my clients that I was working with, Julia, she's a energy healer and earth worker and does sound and light healing. And I was helping her really ground her business, just monetize it, to make it, turn it into something that she could actually earn a living on. So helping her with that. But what that did was that that opened up, because we were able to call in all these angelics and the Master Jesus and Master Katoumi and all the angels and guides, that opened up a different energy that was happening in those sessions. And anyway, one day I was actually had a session with Julia, and I'm in the middle of, my office was in Surrey Hills in Sydney, and I thought, I can't have the session with Julia in my busy real estate office. I'll need to go and get in my car. And so I drove around the corner into the middle of Surrey Hills and had the session with Julia. And anyway, in the session, I was like, I felt this energy. It was like intuition, but it was like this voice wanting to come through me. And I said, "Julia, are you okay? I think there's something that wants to come through for you in the session. Are you okay if we just play with it and see what happens?" And she said, "Absolutely." And that was my first experience of channeling. I started channeling this voice out of me, through me, out of me. And it turned out it was Master Katoumi, who had a specific message for Julia at the time. And it was my first experience of channeling. And then not long after that, I was going off to Africa with this mastermind group. And I told one of the facilitators, who's my friend, colleague, and I told her about this channeling, and she said, the first thing that happened in Africa, and we're in there's 15 people in this thing, and she said, "Oh, now Jason's going to channel Master Katoumi."
Put you on the spot.
Put me on the spot. And I'm like, oh, okay. And just became really present. And then, sure enough, Master Katoumi came through. And from that point onwards, he was there. The energy, the sound was coming through in support of all the people in the room. And it was very, very powerful for them, and very healing and very activating for them. So that was the first time that all sort of unfolded. And then not long after that, straight after that Africa trip, I was going off to Toronto in Canada to Bob Proctor, who's the granddaddy of the law of attraction,
yes,
if you like. And I was going off to him to really hone my law of attraction skills and, really coaching and get, see what he's doing on the world stage and experience that energy. And it was really, really powerful. But I'd had this whole channeling thing that I was really sitting with, and this conference of about 200 people, and I'm like, and then I was being niggled every day. Are you going to bring me through? Are you going to bring me through? And I'm like, no, I'm not. Because I was really, panicky about or nervous about what people would think of that in this more of a mainstream environment. Anyway, got to the last day of this thing. This was a week-long conference. And we had the opportunity to go around every table and pitch what we were doing. And I was pitching the fact that I was going to be a coach, an abundance coach. And I called myself the abundance advocate at that time. And so I went around and I thought, I've got to tell them about this channeling. And so I went around and I said, "Oh, look, what happens, for me is I channel this ascended master, Master Katoumi, comes through me." And I was so accepted. I was so accepted. People were so curious, and they were all coming up after me. "Oh, can you tell me more about this?" And I said, "Sure, I'll see if the energy will come through for you." And sure enough, Master Katoumi was coming through for the people that I connected with. And so that started making me feel really comfortable about being more open about the channeling. And they were having really powerful experiences as well. So that was what happened. And then I came back and then still coaching on the side, running my real estate business in Rara, and running events and doing more and more of that. And then about just over a year ago, about 18 months ago, we were running a retreat for our clients, and one of the attendees, she's a healer, and a very powerful healer, and we brought her in to be of service to our attendees, because we thought, it'd be great, they can experience having a healing session. And she said, well, Jason, I'm actually getting that I'm meant to perform a healing on you. And so I said, well, if you're going to perform a healing on me, it needs to be in the middle of the room. And so she did. And what happened was I had this it was like huge release running through my whole body. I was crying. It was incredibly intense. And but what it was also very, very powerful for our attendees, because they got to see how multidimensional we are, and how healings can happen, and what actually can happen just through energy shifting and changing. And but for me, it was like this massive release that was going through my whole being. And anyway, the next day I'd already booked to go and see Rosemary for a healing session, because I thought this is going to be a big
your go-to,
my go-to, and took my spiritual grandmother to heal me. And she said, "Oh, the galactic beings of light want to come through for you, and are you to activate you in some way. I've just had this message." And she said, "Are you okay with that?" And I said, "Absolutely." And so she did another healing on me, and it was another massive experience of energy shifting. I was crying and changing, and energy running through me. And anyway, the very next day, I'm in meditation, because I meditate every day, and all of a sudden, this light language starts coming through me. The sound which turns out which is light language that came through me, and so that was my next experience of channeling. And because I'd experienced channeling the voice through me, I was ready to go. I didn't hold any of that back. And there's been significant activations in me, but all for the highest good of my clients and those that I work with. And what they experience is their ability to tap in at a much quicker pace into what they truly want. So I use that to really help my clients tap into how powerful they are, how abundant they are, and help them really get clear on what it is that they'd love to be creating in their lives and their experiences. So yeah, that was a bit of a long.
What a journey! No, it's amazing, and I've got a lot of questions. I just want to backtrack. When you realized, and we're all so incredibly unique and have so much to offer. When you're in the real estate company and probably the lowest seller there, when you realized and came into your power and changed your outfit and ended up being the top performer. When you imagine, so in regards to abundance, did you, and you imagined your penthouse and everything, I guess in regards to abundance, it's not the who or what or how it's going to get done. You imagine the final outcome?
Yeah, so I really got clear on my vision, on what I was wishing to bring forth, and from the big picture. I didn't know how it was going to unfold. This is actually a really important lesson. So whatever you're wishing to create, whatever you're wishing to bring forth, the thing is to connect into it, really get yourself, I'm drawing forth this beautiful home, this beautiful apartment. I don't know where it's going to be. I just know that it's beautiful, and I can see the light and the sun, and it's high up or whatever it is. And then, but you just know, when you know inherently that it's coming forth, that you're unwavering that it's coming forth, it will come forth. What happens though is most people go into the doubt, or they get attached to it coming forth in a certain time frame or in a certain paradigm in a certain way. But when you're actually unwavering and you're knowing that it's coming forth and trusting that it's coming forth better than possibly what that you've imagined, and in the divine timing, just know that it's happening, it will come forth. And then what happens is you go, the more you keep connecting into that vision, okay, what steps am I to take to move me forward? What steps am I to take? And if you connect into your heart, I'm choosing to bring forth my beautiful apartment. Are there any inspired actions for me to take at this time? Are there any? And it might be how many inspired actions? And you always get the number. Your heart will always give you the number of actions if you ask it.
Okay.
And whatever it is, 2 or 1, and what is it? And it might be simple. It might be practice gratitude, or it might be drink more water. You never know. Whatever it is, you do what you get. You do what you get.
So I think sometimes people get tripped up in the how am I going to achieve that?
Yeah, it's just small steps. It's just small steps, and keeping aligned, and also having with what I did back then. I also had created a vision board of the different images, and so I connected it into that as well. That was in the background, but what is key is the 100% alignment and trust and allowing that it's unfolding. Yeah.
I would also go a step further and say that it's already there.
Well, that's so true, because if we talk about timelines and that sort of thing, which I know have been spoken about, it's already there. And this is where gratitude comes in. Practicing gratitude is as it's already happened. I'm so grateful for my beautiful home. I'm so grateful for the money that continually flows into my experience. I'm so grateful for how well and vital I feel. It's already here.
I should write that down. That sounds awesome.
And gratitude, when you feeling it in that feeling state, I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for my beautiful home. There's an energy, there's a frequency. Gratitude and love are the highest frequencies to bring yourself into, and then you're drawing those frequencies in. We're all connected by love. And that gratitude for what is, as if it's already here. It is already here when you're in gratitude.
I love the way you explain it, and the love and the gratitude, but I also wanted to touch on manifesting abundance, and you are the abundance activator. So the majority of your thoughts and beliefs are spent on positive thoughts. What happens when we tend to have fear and doubt? What happens?
Well, we're all going to
manifest, I guess.
Yeah, we're all going to have fear and doubt, and we're all going to have the chatter monkey mind going on. That's the human condition, sadly. It's just what we chose here to come and experience it. And as Abraham Hicks calls it, it's the contrast. They call it contrast. And without contrast, how would we know what we truly wanted? So yes, we are going to experience that, and the thing with that is to bringing your awareness to what's actually going on, bringing your awareness. Okay, what's playing out for me? What am I thinking about? Where is my chatter monkey mind taking me? There's a beautiful process that we use, and this is William White Cloud's teachings. Actually, the original work I did was we connect into what we want, the vision of what we want. That you might want to bring forth a beautiful home. What does that look like? Expanding, getting as much information around what you're imagining being there, as if it's already happened. You get your vision, then you look at, well, where am I at in relation to that vision? Where am I at? Really get honest with what's here now. How am I feeling? Do I really believe that I'm worthy of that beautiful home? Do I believe that I am I'm going to have that home? Or am I wavering on it? Am I doubting it? The more you can face into what's going on in current reality, the more you own up to what's actually going on, the truth will set you free. The truth will set you free. So it's facing into what's actually going on. Whereas what happens is when we've got icky stuff going on, fear, doubt, whatever, we want to push it away. Well, guess what? What you resist persists.
Oh no.
So facing into it. And so what I do with my clients is we go in and feel where are you holding on to that in your body? You go and really face into where it's being held and really look at it in the car. Is it ready to be released? And then we'll create space to release it because facing into it, and you've got a platform to move forward. And then from that, what's happened is you've got your starting point, you've got where you are now and where you want to go. There's tension, right? There's tension. And tension always wants to resolve itself, always wants to resolve itself. And so how we resolve it is it's good to sit in tension for a while because it builds it up and builds it up. And do I really want to stay here? Do I really want to stay here in limitation, lack and limitation? Or do I really want to go for this thing that I'd really love? Okay, what do I need to do? What do I need to do to start moving forward? And that's where you bring in your intuition, connect into your heart. How many inspired actions are there for me to take to start moving me forward, And then before you know it, that tension's starting to resolve itself. And once you start making those steps, once you start taking action, that's when things will start happening. The right person will show up. The right opportunity will show up. The inspired idea will come in. Things will start showing up to lead you to where you're going. The flip side of that is if the doubt and the fear or the resistance kicks back in, it can send you back off track. So it's about bringing your full awareness to what's actually going on. The other way to with that is loving your shadow, loving your that part of you, loving the fear, loving that aspect of you. Because the more you can love and have compassion for yourself, the more you're accepting yourself, the more you're loving yourself, and the more you move back into that very high frequency of love, moving back into freedom, moving back into what you truly love to be creating.
How wonderful. I feel so calm speaking to you. And you explained that really, really well. So you've got wonderful offerings on your website for everyone. I'll put them in the show notes. But not only do you provide sort of a roadmap for people to find abundance, you actually energetically activate.
Yes, I do. So
abundance.
Yeah, so that's where well, even now, I've been speaking, you felt calm. Well, there's some of that information is just coming through me, and so there's a frequency that's coming through, and that also the sound that comes through helps that. And we really help. We really work with it. We're all energy. We're all.
I can feel it.
So much fun playing with it.
So, if you don't mind, I just love to talk about your channeling with Master Katoumi.
Yeah.
Wow. So, I've done quite a bit of research and study on channeling, and some people go into, great detail and meditative states for hours and activate their chakras, and someone might come through, but for you, it just seems to happen wonderfully quickly.
Well, the light language,
incredible guide.
The light language is easy. It is like on tap. It's very easy. Master Katoumi, I still have to get out of the way for that sound to come, for that frequency, for his frequency to come through. But we'll see if he's coming through here for you. Oh, we're very happy to be here. And what we would love to say to your listeners is the key here is to create space for presence. The more you create space for presence, the more freedom you will have. You'll see everything is available to you through presence, through creating space through presence. You see, you only have the present moment, but everything is in fact available from the present moment. And we want you to create space to tap into the present moment. Now, you can practice meditation, but the present moment is here regardless. So the more you give yourself space, the more you connect into the present moment, the more that is available to you. The answers, the inspiration, the guidance, it is all here through presence. So we want to remind you of that. And we want you to give yourself space for that place of presence, Do you have any questions?
Yes, I guess since this is a show about passion, and I'm going to ask Master Katoumi, thank you. If people are looking to live a passionate life, what would you suggest?
Oh, we want everyone to live a passionate life. We want everyone to live a passionate life. It is so important. It is why you came. It is why you came to have this human experience. So yes, find what lights you up. Find what gives you joy. The more you practice living your lives joyfully, passionately, the more on purpose you are. You see, you all came here with unique gifts, with unique reason. And we want you to all have that experience. So what lights you up? Move towards what lights you up. Yes. So what you are doing here, talking about passionate people, activating people to think about what their passion is so very important. But it is not spoken of enough. It is not spoken of enough. So we encourage you to keep having these conversations. They are very important. Very important.
Thank you very much.
Oh.
Beautiful message. Do you remember the messages that come through you?
Now, at the moment, most of that, yes, but it'll go, sadly. so yes, it's it'll. And I still have to use my consciousness to decipher things. So I don't, he doesn't talk. We don't get out of. Well, there's been some things that I've sort of been quite astounded by that have been said. But I still have to decipher. It still comes through my consciousness to decipher what's being said, if you know what I mean.
Absolutely. I mean, because I've done a lot of research on channeling, so you're thinking the thought and then you're speaking it.
Yeah, it's coming through. It's
not automatic.
Well, it is automatic because it just comes. But it's still got to be with something that I can language, if you know what I mean.
Of course.
Yeah. Whereas the light language, well, that's not, I can't make it, there's no deciphering going on. I tune in on what's being said, and I can translate some messages at times, but the rational mind cannot compute what's going on. Yes. Other than I can translate what I'm sensing and intuiting is coming through, and I'll get messages that will come through specifically for people at times,
which is not from Master Katoumi.
Not from Master Katoumi. So the light language comes from from galactic source, beings of light, the beings of love and light, galactic beings of love and light, they say. So
wow, incredible. I guess on a couple of final notes, is there anything else you'd like to share with our audience?
Oh, look, I mean, I think if we tap back into what Master Katoumi just said about presence, you don't have to meditate and sit on a cushion to get present. Whatever gives you joy, whatever lights you up, is a key indicator of what to be doing. And someone might love dancing. Now, they might not be going to make a career out of dancing, right? But the dancing can lead into creating space for intuition or information. And if you went into something that takes you into the state of joy, whatever it is, could be watching the footy, right? Could be just watching the footy, and you might love that because you go into that state of presence. You're watching the game, and it's just amazing, and you're in that real present moment. But if you set an intention before you go into something that gives you joy, you might want an answer to something, or you might want clarity, or you might want to connect into, I'd love to just see an expanded vision of what I'm to do. I want to find out more information. I'm choosing to find out more information about my purpose. You set an intention because it's powerful when you set intention, and you will get some information. You'll get guidance. Because you're going into that state of presence. You're out of your rational mind. You're out of all the chatter monkey. You're in that moment of being in the joy and the presence of what you're actually loving. And that's really powerful. So doing more things that give you joy, whatever they are, whatever's right for you, is key.
Beautiful. Or I guess as Joseph Campbell said, follow your bliss.
Follow your bliss. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yeah.
Do you have any light language for our audience? Is anything coming through?
Well, this podcast is about passion, right? This podcast is about activating your passion,
connecting with your soul's purpose,
doing what you love. You see,
following your bliss.
The more of you that are following your bliss, the more of you that are on purpose, the more of you that are in joy, the more you're actually shifting the collective frequency, the collective vibration.
Activating it,
shifting it out of the low frequency, low vibe stuff into the high vibe stuff. So the more of you that are operating in this way, that there's such power in that. So we'll bring through some sound, and we'll bring it through some sound, and just, if your listeners, just bring their awareness to their hearts, bring your awareness to your hearts, and just perhaps put your hand on your heart. A beautiful heart, because your heart is connected to all. Your heart connects you to each other, and your heart has all the information. And if you bring your awareness to your heart, and there's a center point in the heart, and this sound that wants to come through is for that, to really open that up, to open your heart up even more than it has been before, to open your heart up more than it has been before, to tap into higher states of your passion, of your bliss, of your joy. And actually, if you set an intention before this sound comes through, set an intention, if there's something that you'd love to see, something you'd love to activate, something you'd love to experience, just ask for that to be brought to be brought forth. And use an I choose statement or an I am statement. An I choose statement or an I am statement. Do that now. And bringing with your awareness on your heart. Mokoyaka. Makaya halo omokohahe. Hiakayaka okumokohahe. Hiakaya makaihe. Hia halo kumukohahe. Hia makaya hakaya kumukohahe. Hia kai kuya kumukohahe. He mahale he ke koya makaya. He makai kai. Homokoya. It is done. And so it is. And so be it. And then just taking a beautiful deep breath in. And breath out. Thank you.
That was amazing. You're amazing. I'm so honored to have you on this show, Jason.
Oh, my pleasure. It's been lots of fun.
What a beautiful activation at the end. I love it. And I hope it permeates to all our viewers or listeners.
Yeah, wonderful.
So thank you so much for being on Passion Harvest.
My pleasure, my absolute pleasure.
And for anyone that is looking to connect with Jason, all his details will be in the show notes. So please contact him. Thanks, Jason.
Thanks, Louisa.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.